What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Gauntlet, your spot for NFL talk and the Sideline Sports Network. The most fun show that you're gonna see out here. No disrespect to all the other shows, but we like what we do and we have fun, man. So, without further ado, there's no time to waste. In the right corner, I got the Houston Hooligan. I got Mr. Denzel Snipes in the house. I got Kendall representing the Patriots.
Yes, sir.
The way he does his work on the Sideline Network with covering this team is fantastic. So make sure you guys always check out his show as well, just to get a better insight with the Patriots. Then we got Detroit Dom in the building, repping the Detroit Tigers. I think Dom has won every single one of his teams at least once on the show. So I respect that.
How come you guys didn't bring me on when we first started? I don't know.
Because you disappeared and then you came back. And,
no, I was.
And I say the best for last, Mr. Joseph Jenkins in the house.
Who's wearing a hat?
Well, I'm not wearing it now. I was always here, and I'm a little hurt right now. To be honest with you.
I'm sorry. Do you forgive me?
Not right now. Like, I was always here. Like, what happened? Was it a connection thing, or what's going on?
We're not doing this. All right, guys, let's start with the Gauntlet Grinders, our part of the show where we talk about last week, the biggest plays and the biggest moments in sports. So, well, not in sports, but in the NFL. So, to kick us off, let's go to Denzel. Who's your Gauntlet Grinders?
I think my AFC one is pretty obvious, man. I'm going to go ahead on and get it to running back Joe Mixon in the dominant win versus the Cowboys. He had 20 carries for 109 and 3 touchdowns, 2 receptions for 44 yards. Absolutely took over the game. The Cowboys defense could do nothing with him. They couldn't stop him. And then in the NFC, I'm actually going to give it to quarterback Matt Stafford. He went 18 of 27, 295 yards, 4 touchdowns, a 142.7 passer rating in a win versus New England at New England, 28-22, keeping the Rams alive in the NFC West race. We'll see how that ends up. And I'm probably going to break protocol here, but I'm going to send a special shout out. I almost picked him as an outright grinder, but it would be a crime if I didn't say Joe Mixon. But I'm going to send a special shout out to cornerback Derek Stingley Jr., completely shutting down CeeDee Lamb whenever he was guarding him. But all in the game on 17 routes, he allowed only 2 catches for 19 yards, 1 interception, 2 pass breakups, and drew an offensive pass interference, ironically, on CeeDee Lamb. Should have had 2 interceptions. He let one get through his hand, but Derek Stingley Jr. definitely did his thing on Monday night, so shout out to him.
All right, and Kendall, do you have AFC, NFC, Gauntlet Grinders, anything that you want to shout out?
I have 2 grinders, but both of them are from the AFC, and they're from the same team. But it wasn't a losing effort. The Cincinnati Bengals, I'm going to go with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. I think T. Higgins had over 100 yards. Jamar Chase had 7 catches for 70-something yards and 2 touchdowns. So they first time they played together in the good while. T. Higgins and Jamar Chase going to be my 2 grinders for the week. It wasn't a losing effort. But, man, them boys, I know they're going to lose T after the season. But, man, when them boys, they look good when they do play together. I 2 grounds for the week. In the same team, in a losing effort, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins.
All right, you know what? I like that.
Yep.
And next, can we go to Dom? Dom, you got anything?
Yeah. Do you not have my clips?
What clips? No, I don't have your clips. I'm sorry.
Why did I send you clips? It's okay. It's all up here. NFC, I'll go with my pedestrian quarterback, Jared Goff. More on that later. Jared Goff, for the second time this year, threw for over 400 yards with a perfect passer rating. He was 24 of 29, 412 yards, 4 TDs, no picks, in an absolute throttling of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Second time we've scored 52 points this year. This dude's been slinging it, save for that 5 interception game, but we still won that one too. Whether or not he's in the MVP race, maybe we'll get to that later as well. AFC, I'm going Justin Herbert, 17 of 36, 297 yards, 2 TDs, no picks, and 65 rushing yards. Joe Burrow had better stats, but I would say he outdueled Joe Burrow because the Chargers did come away with the win. For at least 1 week, the Chargers managed not to charger somehow, some way. Although I feel like they always lose games that you think they're going to win. Isn't that what Chargers charging became, or blowing big first half leads?
I gotta
don't
be
know.
honest with you. The Chargers have not been charging this season.
I know. Shout out to Jim Harbaugh. Maybe that's a new team, new era, new culture out there. They've been pretty impressive. That defense is sick.
The Chargers have definitely defied all laws of science this season because
My go.
they have not been.
Yeah, right after Denzel finishes up, we go into JJ.
No, but they definitely have not been charging this season. They've been playing like a team who wants to make the postseason. Chiefs will still win that division, but I've got the Chargers as a wild card as of right now. All right, JJ, it's on you.
I'm not sure why anybody was surprised about Chargers, especially you, Jay. Like, do y'all not know who their coach is? Like, and I believe I was the only one who actually said they were going to be lit. So all you guys are surprised. I'm not. Like, there's no such thing as charging when you have Jim Harbaugh and you're coaching your squad, because he's the opposite of that. So you guys saying you defy the laws of science, I'm surprised, because I'm like, did you think Jim Harbaugh was going to struggle? Did you think that he was going to, fail? No, it makes perfect sense why that he have the grinder of J.K. Dobbins, because J.K. Dobbins is that guy. J.K. Dobbins is a guy that unfortunately had injuries, but he is a guy that is explosive when he is on the field, and he will continue to grind, and that's what he did this week to help them. And NFC, I don't really have anybody right now. The Lord's working on me because I played a joke when I first came on a little too long. And the Lord was like, now, you wasn't supposed to do that to that man. You wasn't supposed to make your brother feel some type of way. So I apologize to everybody. I was playing a joke a little too bad because, I was like, you know what? I'm not really good at carrying, jokes for too long. So I was like, I'm committed to this one. I'm going to do it. I'm going to be mad and I'm going to be sad. And the next thing you know, it went too far. So I do apologize about that. Y'all should know me by now. I'm not really mad about anything. But yeah, I am a little surprised that Jay sitting here surprised at the Los Angeles Chargers with Jim Harbaugh not being a legit team. When has the Jim Harbaugh NFL?
It doesn't have anything to do with Jim. It's just
it's more because history has shown that this is what the Chargers do.
You're talking about history has shown without Jim Harbaugh. What is Jim Harbaugh's history shown in the NFL? Did he not bring the San Francisco team out of comeback in the first year? Absolutely. So, like, what you're saying, Charger history, we're talking about the coach. The coach's history is what matters, because the coach that he is has full control of this squad. So expect them to be around. Chargers going Charger is not going to be a thing anymore now, moving forward. It won't. Jim Harbaugh is too good.
We'll see.
It's fair.
I'm not convinced. And I like Jim Harbaugh as a coach.
All right.
I've said he belonged back in the pros 10 years ago.
You guys mind if I jump in here and give my two grinders? Just before we move on to the sports moron of the week, which is also going to be a packed segment. I'm surprised that nobody brought up this man in the segment tonight, and that was Bills quarterback Josh Allen with this run, pivotal moment of the game. You see him here, he pump fakes, he gets out of the pocket, and now he's just breaking tackles all the way to the end.
That was on fourth down, too. That's crazy.
We know that this is such a pivotal moment of the game as well. If Josh gets stopped there, the Chiefs get the ball back. It's only a 2-point game. I think we all know how that story ends. But that was a moment where the Bills were like, nah, we know the other guy that's on the other side. We're not going to let this happen. And it was a great win for the Buffalo Bills, and it was a great win for Josh Allen. But I do have to say, it was a regular season game. So the monster is still there, and the monster is going to be in the playoffs. What is Josh going to do when he's faced with that monster going against Mahomes again, which is what he's going to have to do if he wants to get to his first Super Bowl.
Yep,
So
we've seen in the past that the past few years they've beaten the Chiefs in the regular season. I think like 4-0, 3 or 4 straight times they've beaten them. And then what happens? There's only one person hosting the Lombardi Trophy, and it's Patrick Mahomes. So let's see. This year does feel a little different because the Chiefs I mean, not the Chiefs, but the Bills didn't. They weren't healthy. They was missing Keon Coleman and Kincaid, and still got it done. So I can't wait to the playoffs see what happens.
100%. 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, guys, in the NFC, it's Saquon Barkley. 198 scrimmage yards in this game, 2 touchdowns against the Commanders. The Eagles kind of just took over in the second half of this ball game. It all kind of started when Jaden Daniels was stopped on that 4th down play. That Eagles defense kind of igniting a lot of energy in the team. Next thing you know, there's one Saquon run, then there's another. Then there ends up being an interception. It was just an incredible game by the Eagles in the second half against the Commanders. A lot of folks going into that game didn't know if we were going to be able to do it. Didn't say the Eagles have faced a real team. But now I think we can say the Eagles are really the favorites of the NFC East. So that's my grinders of the week, guys. So
yeah, Jaden where it hurts. That's the problem. He was not ready for it.
Nah, he was not ready for that Eagles defense, guys. But when we get back, we know what time it is. It's time to call some people out. It's time to bring up what you got to get off your chest for the Sports Moron of the year or Sports Moron of the week. And some of these guys are in contention for the Sports Moron of the year. Let's talk about it when we get back from this break. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Sports Moron of the week. I'm going to kick us off with this one because I got something that I want to say about the San Francisco 49ers, a.k.a. who I call the Red Cowboys. Specifically, this man, Deebo Samuel, called out Terrell Owens on social media after he was critical of his play, which if you look at the stats, with Deebo Samuel as a big-name player, what is he really doing? He's not producing. The San Francisco 49ers are, really taking a big decline, and he's part of the reason why. Brandon Ayuk is obviously injured. You're the number 1 receiver on the team. You're not really producing it, and anytime somebody says something about Deebo, he's very sensitive, and he always reacts. And he always tries to act like he's a victim, which is what I always have the biggest problem with. Terrell Owens has accomplished more on one leg when he went for 121 yards in the Super Bowl with an ankle injury. On one leg has accomplished more than you in your entire career, Deebo. But you want to have the nerve to call him out when somebody has something to say about what you're doing. Maybe you should step your game up and actually take some advice from somebody that's a Hall of Famer instead of trying to call him out on social media, doing all this typing, doing all this chatting like what you're doing. Deebo Samuel not doing anything this season, so I'm calling him out, man. Sports Moron of the Week, Deebo Samuel.
And, well, I guess I'll go next. Hey, JT, you got the picture, man? Look at this.
I gotta remove the banner.
Look at this. Somebody come. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. My sports moron of the week goes to Allegiant Stadium, whoever's in charge of pricing whatever. $653.18 for a pepperoni pizza and chicken tenders at the UNLV football game. Let me tell you something. This shit on the screen look mid as hell. To be charged.
How many did he buy though?
To be charged, I bet the chicken ain't even seasoned. To be
For
charging
$600 worth of chicken, it better be like enough to feed a whole 5 or 6, 7 families type situation.
it better be for $600. It better be THC infused. I better be able to sing like Michael Jackson. I better be able to perform like Prince. I better be able to do all of that after I get done eating. $600 for a pizza and chicken tenders is insane. Now I can understand if maybe you paid for the suite and then everything is all inclusive. Food, drinks, you got it as part of the package. But you had these folks paying top dollar for the suite. They don't charge them an extra $600 for that. It don't even look all that. I've seen corner store food look better than that. Sports More of the Week and on them drunken nights, y'all know what I'm talking about. Sports More of the Week to Allegiant Stadium staff. That is redonkulous.
Man, I actually seen the comment down there. I was already thinking that. I'm going with the Philadelphia 76ers, Joel Embiid, Paul George. What in the heck is going on down there with Philadelphia, man? Paul George, he's spending more time on the podcast than he's spending on the court.
Podcast P.
Yeah, podcast P. Joel Embiid, like a couple weeks ago, he threatened a reporter or something like that, and now I think Tyrese Maxey, he just called him out, and then I think he's out again. Like, I mean, it's a lot going on. So I think what are they like 2-11, 2-12 now, or something like that. Like, I mean, Jay, you should know you're right there in the area. I mean, you're a Sixer fan, ain't you? I mean, like it's a mess down there.
James doesn't watch basketball till after football season.
Yeah.
I don't think he's in any big hurry for that to happen.
I'm not missing anything.
He don't even do that right now, Kendall. He don't even watch. He over it now. He is.
Yeah, they had high expectations, and it's sad what's going on right now.
James been over this squad for the last 3 years. He is not hope for them.
Longer than that.
It's just
it's true.
Of all the Philly teams, the Sixers is obviously the team that I trust the least. So to see what they're doing is also it's embarrassing though. On some level, you have to have some pride. And this team is not playing like they do. I actually love for Tyrese Maxey to call out Joel Embiid like that because he was missing team meetings and showing up late and stuff. I actually like to see that from the young fella. Shows that he has some grit and he wants more from the team. Since obviously there's nobody in this locker room like a Jimmy Butler what they used to have a few years ago. And there's no type of enforcer like that. So I actually like to see that from the young fella trying to get some accountability in this team.
That's the other thing I just heard about Embiid is that now he's behind closed doors. Someone heard him say he really wanted Jimmy Butler instead of Paul George. You remember you had Jimmy Butler and he said, "Fuck you and fuck this team. I'm out."
And honestly, with some of the things this organization has done, can't really blame him.
So the thing is, they have said that Joel is very upset because he wanted them to go after Jimmy Butler, and they went after Paul George. And ever since then, to him, that seems like that they no longer want to really feel his opinion is valued, or they just kind of slapped in his face. So it makes me believe that, yeah, Joel is forcing his way out. I think he does not want to be there, and I think this welcome has been overstayed, and now Philly's just got to unfortunately deal with a tumultuous season.
And bite the bullet.
That is my sports call out is the whole situation in Philly, because it's like, yeah, the process unfortunately did not turn out the way, and Joel is definitely forcing his way out, unfortunately. And I think it's just because of the Jimmy Butler situation, and I can buy that because I remember every time they play them, whenever you hear Joel talk about the Heat, all he talks about is just Jimmy Butler. I love that dude. I want that dude. I appreciate that dude. I want him on my squad. I want him back here because I do believe Joel wants to win, but I think Joel is tired of what's been going on around there, and I think the front office has been there. I think they're done now. I think it's over with. Joel's like, you got to pay me, so I don't care. So I'm going to do whatever I want to do, because anytime somebody is deliberately late to things, they are doing it for a reason. He is deliberately late. He is deliberately doing things. He is ready to go. And it's unfortunate because I know he really did and does want to win. He may not always be around in the postseason, but he came back with the eye situation. And remember, Maxey wasn't mad at him. Maxey was mad at Harden's effort. He wasn't mad at Joel's effort. Joel's effort has never been in question when he's in the game. It's never been in question. But now when I saw that Jimmy Butler, I was like, yeah, it makes sense because last year he was just all he could talk about was Jimmy Butler. All he could talk about was Jimmy Butler, and they ain't get him.
Nobody else got a sports moron before we move on to anything else.
Oh, you don't have my pick stitch either?
Who was yours?
No, actually, I do. I do have one. Just
Go ahead, JJ.
And it's actually just because it's just happened most recently. Boy, your growth, my friend, Mr. George Pickens, is going to be a definite journey. But I do know that you're in the right spot because Mike Tomlin knows the type of person you are, and he knows how to handle those emotions. They were playing in the same weather. What happened is what you did to us is what they did to you. You punched us in the mouth, and we couldn't punch back quick enough to beat you. They punched y'all in the mouth, and y'all couldn't punch back enough to beat them. It's typical AFC North football, and I made this point at where don't complain about the weather because it's not going to change for the rest of the season. So, and you play in Pittsburgh. You should be able to handle the weather.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, George, but I do have to remember, I said, yeah, hey, this is how these guys are. Ant-Man said he doesn't want to play in New York because he doesn't want to get booed. George is sitting here blaming other things. This is the type of players and then mentalities that I have to come to realize are here now.
Another thing I have to bring up, though, is that both teams had to deal with the weather.
Yeah.
So it makes what he said even more moronic.
Yeah.
It's a very Chase Claypool 11 wins, never heard of her type situation. That's what it kind of feels like. It's like that. They're thinking they're here, and then they lost, and now you're not. As opposed to sitting there saying they just took us to pieces, you have to blame somebody else. Ryan Clark said that today on First Take.
All right, Dom, what was your sports moron?
Oh, Nick Wright, also frequently known as Nick Wrong,
Wrong.
also known as the love child of Hans Gruber, the supervillain from Die Hard.
Number 2 or number 1.
People in the Detroit sports media were just incensed, like the fans, even a lot of the media people, like, what is this guy talking about? So I believe it was like Monday or Tuesday, this man on his show, whatever show is unfortunate enough to have, I mean, it's good comedy. I love laughing at the ridiculous shit that he says. He believes that the 9-1 NFC leading Vegas odds favorite Detroit Lions are not a real Super Bowl contender because they have a pedestrian at quarterback. That pedestrian would be Jared Goff, the one with the there he is. There's Hans Gruber Jr. Where are my detonators?
Yeah.
Yeah, call Jared Goff a pedestrian. It's got a lot better numbers than Patrick Mahomes. Right about now, I would be calling Patrick Mahomes the pedestrian, not Nick Wright.
Well, Nick Wright only likes he only elevates teams of quarterbacks that he likes. That's it. That's really all it is.
That's true. Yeah, because he's got his whole Mahomes Mountain thing.
Still trying to make when he says that about you, he's still trying to make a case for the Bengals. Still, why? Because he loves Joe Burrow, but he can't. So he's still trying to make the case.
I mean, the Bengals would definitely be dangerous in the playoffs if they can qualify for them. But yeah, it's not the first time, certainly not the last time that Nick Wright said something dumb, but this was just over the edge. And even non-Lions fans were like, what is this guy talking about? But it's an everyday thing. He'll definitely be my nominee for Sports Moron of the Year. I've lost track of the number of times where I just sit there and I'm like, is this guy serious? That's the thing. He says it with such conviction. Like he really believes the bullshit
He's been
himself.
doing this stuff for a long time, man.
That's true.
James, I don't know if you saw this. Kendall, I don't know if you saw this either, or Jay. He literally says that on the same segment, and he's talking about the whole Ravens golf MVP. He's like, your losses matter, and this is why Lamar can't be this. But then when we get to Joe Burrow, hey, happened. He lost to the team that was bad. He made every excuse. Literally, he's like, if the losses matter, why do not the other losses matter when it comes to this guy? Because it goes back to what we said. You like Joe Burrow, so you're going to make excuses for Joe Burrow's losses. You don't like Lamar, or you don't like Jared Goff, so you're going to find other ways to circle the bush as to realize. And the reason why you kind of say it such conviction is because nobody believes you. So you have to say it with conviction. Nobody believes you.
Like his back has to be sore.
There's clearly a bias.
So often.
There's clearly a bias.
Twerp like me.
There's clearly a bias with certain quarterbacks. Because I've seen Jalen Hurts have a bad game or have a game he didn't really play well, and then they come out and they're like, "Man, is Jalen Hurts really the problem? Is he holding the Eagles team back?" And then any other quarterback does it, and you don't really see it. So it might be the team, it might be the market, or it might just be a bias. Seems to happen a lot. But I forgot I had one slight oversight on Sports Moron of the Week. I can't believe I forgot this one. I think all the other sports morons kind of distracted us from somebody that's constantly been in the sports moron, which is the Dallas Cowboys. Once again, I couldn't pull the full video, but I wanted to show this. Guys, this is Trayvon Diggs and CeeDee Lamb going to the club and shooting a rap video in the club after they just got destroyed by the Houston Texans. Pretty much moments after he got destroyed. So what this tells me is that this team is just completely mentally checked out. They do not care. They are just pretty much done with the season. So as if you're a Cowboys fan, you can joke around and say, "Oh, well, we need to tank, we need to do this and that." That's fine. But at the end of the day, as a team, you have to have some pride. Like you're going up against the Houston Texans. You're the two teams in Texas. Come out and show something. Against the Philadelphia Eagles, same thing. Rivalry game. Show me something.
So what you want to do? Go home and go to
And
bed?
you show absolutely nothing. And then these guys are just showing that they're mentally checked out. It's pretty embarrassing.
So you say they can't go party after? What happens when they say if you have something bad happen to you? I'm just saying that it is their.
I wouldn't.
I get it.
I wouldn't want.
Look,
I wouldn't want this to be put out.
I know I'm with you, but I'm with you and saying you're feeling, but I'm just like I'm just like, oh come on.
You can have fun without.
But it's not
for sure.
But how does it mean you have fun? They were going to take pictures of them anyway because they're stars. They could have been at a book eating food, grubbing and laughing. They're going to take pictures because they're stars. But I get that they lost, but dang, we're supposed to go home, be a nun, go to sleep, or whatever. Like at the end of the day, he went out, and it's like, yo, I get it, but it's like, let me ask you a question. When somebody does something that breaks your heart and you're mad, you're angry as anything in the world, what do people around you do to try to make you feel better? They take you somewhere so you can have fun. There is a chance that this could be it. And they're young. They're in their 20s. I mean, this is a Thursday night and they ain't got to work the next day. Do they just go home? Like, I'm just trying to figure out, I get where you're coming from. I do. But I'm just like, dang, are they going to just, how are them not taking it seriously? Because maybe they're trying to snap their mind back into it because they could be doing something worse.
Is there anything that has been seen on the field that indicates that I'm wrong? That the team is not mentally checked
on the field, what they do outside the field when they're off work, because when you're off work, it doesn't matter what you do as long as you don't get in trouble. Like, it's off work. It's off
I don't know. If I got shellacked like that by the other team in Texas,
so
I would be at home crying in the shower.
What would you want them to do be outside of that? Go home. I mean, give the answer. What would you want them to do? And they're a night when they're young and they want to beat a woman. What if a woman wanted them out that night?
At least do it the next day. Don't shoot a rap video right after you got your ass whooped.
What if they're meeting a woman at the party that night? That's the only night they're going out. Tell them no next day. Oh, because you just lost. You can't do that. No, go to a woman that you're going to have fun with. Right. That's what you do.
If that's how you feel, that's how you feel.
Technically, you're right. Because they're grown and they're paid, they can do what they want to do. But regardless of the fact, and James Harden got the same criticism for going to the strip club after losing. It's a bad look at the end of the day. It is. If you won by 24 points, then that's different. But you lost. In the eyes of a lot of people out there,
it's a bad look for you, but it doesn't mean it's a bad look. It's just based off how you perceive it. Because if you won and you still went to the club, it's okay. That's because that's how you value it. But again, you also acknowledge that if you've been in a loss, you do see a circumstance where you go have fun. So you don't. But I'm saying, like, I get it, but it's like, it's not a right or wrong in my opinion. It's not a right or wrong. It's a right or wrong as subjected to you. So that's why I said I get it. For me, I don't think anything's wrong with it, like, at all. Same with James Harden, at all. You're off the clock, at all. If you're on the clock, yeah, it's not like they were supposed to go to a team meeting and then chose to go to the club, and then it'd be more of a problem, in my opinion, than going to the club after a loss. It's just, it is what it is. It lost. They go home and sleep. I'd be like, dang, man, you got to come out and have fun. Don't be moping around about it, But that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's a right or wrong, but I think it's a right or wrong pertaining to the person. That's where I really get it from.
Fair enough, man. Makes some really fair points. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the Sports Moron of the Week. When we come back to the show, Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl. It's getting closer to the end of the season. It's getting closer to the nitty gritty. So, which teams are really starting to separate themselves? Let's talk about it when we get back. All right. So, it's time for the nitty gritty. It's time to say, all right, we talk about it all off season. We talk about it in the early part of the season. Who we think is going to be in the Super Bowl. Who are the main teams that starting to separate themselves. I really want to get into this debate and this conversation because I think it's starting to get. I think there's some certain teams are just starting to hit their stride, get there. So let's talk about it, guys. Let's talk about it. Let's kick it off with Denzel, and then we'll go around that way and come back up to me for the final word. Denzel, when you're looking at the landscape in the NFL, when you're looking at the teams, it's getting time. So who is separating themselves, and who do you see in each conference? Really, really putting in that work to show that these are Super Bowl caliber teams.
Well, I'm going to pick two apiece from each conference. I'm not going to go down like every single one of them. But starting with the NFC, obviously, it's the Detroit Lions as number one because they have separated themselves pretty much from weeks ago. They've learned a lot from last season, and they want to keep things rolling. They have a great thing going with Dan Campbell, and they're looking to bring it back to the cocaine Wayne days. You know, whenever they were making playoffs kind of consistently. You know what I mean? And they haven't. They've torn away from being this laughing stock of the NFL deal. The Detroit Lions are beating teams in three different ways. They can blow you out. They can come from behind and beat you. They can blow a big lead and then somehow find a way to win the game. And their only loss was by 2 or 3 to Baker Mayfield. So there's and they have rolled since then. They've won 8 straight. So with that being said, the Detroit Lions, so long as they keep it going, and when it comes playoff time, learn to play it safe and don't gamble on everything, then you can find yourselves in the Superdome in February. Also in the NFC, I'm going to also say the Philadelphia Eagles as well. The Philadelphia Eagles have made their way back since last year. I see a stronger team, not just with the addition of Saquon Barkley, but they've been, in my eyes, they've been better defensively as well. They rank in the top 10 in more than several categories defensively. So this is a dangerous defense that is facing them every single week. And then everything's clicking on all offense. Saquon obviously has taken the pressure off of Jalen Hurts. You still got Devontae. You still got Goddard. You still got A.J. Brown. The only thing that I will say, in all fairness, James, because I know that's your team, the only thing that I will say is we know what happened last year, that collapse. Mm-hmm. So they have to learn from that and keep it going. Don't get too cocky. Play the teams in front of you. Don't overlook anyone. Yep. Don't let lightning strike twice. You got the NFC. Well, I still think Lions will get the 1 seed, but Philly could easily get number 2. Now for the AFC. Boy, them Buffalo Bills, man. Them Buffalo Bills, dude. They lose Stephon Diggs, and seemingly they haven't missed a beat. I like Keon Coleman. I like Shakir, and most definitely with the addition of Amari Cooper, a veteran receiver. And then also you still got number 17 back there. Defense is good enough to make plays. As long as you can get the ball back to number 17, you got a great shot to win the game. As long as Josh Allen puts up at least 28 points, you figure you got a real good shot at winning that game. Now, with that being said, I have to bring them up because, they were undefeated until they faced the Bills, and that is the Chiefs. Only because now they haven't looked like the same team. They've squeaked by, okay? And I get it. You win games however you can. But there's a difference between what the Chiefs are doing and, say, what the Lions in the other conference are doing, And with that being said, I mean, as long as 15 is behind center, I'm not counting them out in the playoffs. And they're the defending champions, so it is what it is until further notice. But those are my 2 from each conference.
Yeah, I like that, Joe. Whatnot. I'm gonna go with the two obvious. I'm gonna go with the Kansas City Chiefs and Detroit Lions. Until somebody beat the Chiefs, it's gonna be the Chiefs. I mean, I don't care about Buffalo beating them in the regular season. I whatnot because we've seen this move before. I'm gonna go Chiefs and Detroit Lions, and just like you, yeah, I got two teams from each conference. As much as it hurts me and it kills me to say it, these two teams I'm about to say, it really eats me alive to say it. I can see Buffalo Bills making it for the AFC. This year just feels different. I don't trust Baltimore because that defense is terrible, but I'm gonna go with Buffalo and it kills. I'd rather Kansas City win it than Buffalo. So I'm gonna go with Kansas City and Buffalo in the AFC. And this team just I don't care what the scoreboard says. This team came into our house last week and stomped us, the LA Rams. I'm telling you guys right now, the Rams are serious. They for real. They're healthy. Offensive line playing better. And Stafford, when he gets hot, they got. I watched every play of that game last week. They got a good, fast, young defense. I got some question marks in the secondary, but you know what? You know what helps out the secondary? A good pass rush. And they got like 4 or 5 guys on that line. That I watched it. I mean, Drake May, he looked real good last week. He had a 100 pass. He had a real good game. But man, they got. I mean, Bobby Hunter, Verse, Fifth. They got like 3 or 4 guys that got like 4 sacks apiece. And they're young and they've been a good McVay. I love McVay. I'm a big Sean McVay fan. I like his scheme and whatnot. But if the Rams continue to get hot, I think right now Arizona might be leading the West right now. But I think the Rams are right behind them. They got to play again. Rams got Philly Sunday. Devontae Smith is out, so it's a big game. I'm telling you guys, the Rams not getting a lot of love. They play Arizona again in a couple weeks. The Rounds are for real, and they're a team that ain't nobody want to see in the playoffs. That defense continue to see it with Jared Verse, them young boys. They're gonna be a problem. Stafford and McVay, they just won it a couple years ago, so they get in there. Somebody they're gonna get in the playoffs. They're
So
gonna be a
just for the
problem.
record,
So
just for the record,
for you real quick. So if the
just for the
Ravens,
record, you are picking the Rams over the Eagles.
hold on, because I want to ask him a question just real quick. If the Ravens beat the Steelers, are you saying that you would have think they have a contender? If they'd have beat the Steelers didn't score no touchdowns, and the Ravens actually held the
Because that's hey,
I'm
bro,
just
that's
asking.
that's
The
the,
Steelers
that's
actually
the
held the
Steelers.
Steelers. They actually held the Steelers scoreless in touchdowns the whole
The
season.
Steelers been winning games like that all year.
No,
They've
but
been
my
doing it
question
all
to
year.
you is, I don't. It doesn't. For me, I guess logically, I don't see how any of y'all leave us out. But that's your opinion. I'm just asking you to confirm my theory. If we won that game, do you say that we're still not a contender?
I would still say that because I don't trust Lamar in the playoffs. Now, listen, I got
So
family
it's
in
not about
Baltimore. I
the
love
defense; it's about Lamar. Because the first time it was about the defense, but if we have won, now it's about Lamar. So I'm
no, no,
trying to
no,
figure
no.
out which one.
It's about both. I don't trust Lamar in the playoffs, and the defense is not good.
Which one is more that you don't trust? Give it to me straight.
I'm gonna say the defense because look at what y'all gonna have to go against in the AFC.
And they
Buffalo.
crushed Buffalo. That
Let me
defense
finish.
is
Don't make disparaging remarks
Let me
about
finish.
Lamar Jackson.
It's
Y'all
not
don't beat
disparaging anything, Dom. Stop doing that. I'm asking a
y'all
question.
beat Buffalo,
I
but
have
look at the
never had
teams you
nobody
got.
have issues about what they say about Lamar, but you say the Buffalo Bills. Didn't Baltimore beat them 35-10?
Yeah, y'all did beat them, but look at the
And the
teams you're gonna
defense
have to
did
go
what?
against in the AFC. You're
The
gonna have
defense did what? The defense
Lamar
did what?
struggles against Pittsburgh, and he struggles against Kansas City.
So
Those are
now
two
it's
teams
about
you're probably
Lamar.
going to have to see
That's
in the
what I'm
playoffs.
saying. Which one is it? I don't care which one you pick, but it's like when it comes to one decision, when I show you something that disapproved that, now it goes Lamar. Because first it was Buffalo, and then I showed you
When you
Buffalo.
get the playoff, Lamar has struggled in the postseason. He has.
So that's what I'm saying. Which one is it
Thank
that you don't
you.
trust more? Do you not trust
Right
the
now, it's the defense, but when we get to January, it's going to be Lamar. We're going to have to cross that bridge at some
That's
point.
what I'm saying. My question to you is, when it comes to the playoffs and why they're not a contender, is it you don't trust the defense to come to play more than the Lamar coming, or do you not
Lamar,
trust
it's
Lamar to perform?
Lamar Jackson.
So then
That's
it's
what.
not, okay, exactly. That's much better. That's why I knew it always was, and I was wanting
Right.
you to get there because
Yeah.
when you bring up Buffalo, they beat Buffalo, so that's out the
Yeah.
book. They're a toe away from Kansas City, so they can compete with them. So it's not about them; it's more about Lamar, and that's
but
okay.
it's
You can say that about Lamar. That's all it is. But I just want people to sit here. If you're going to say it, don't just say it. Don't circumvent, beat the bush, nothing. Just come out and for say it. I
it's
was
Lamar.
say it too. It's
But
Lamar.
what I was saying is, if you would let me finish, what I was saying is, I said both because the defense is bad right now, but we all know how Lamar is in the playoffs, so we got to get to that point anyway. So I couldn't just say
But it's the point that
defense is
matters
broken.
more because you felt like they could trust that the defense could figure it out more. Because if you say you
No, I
trust
don't think so.
Lamar,
I don't think so. I don't think they're going to be able to
so
figure it out.
you don't think that defense that stopped Buffalo could play them again and still contain them a little bit
No,
They had
I think if y'all play
Josh
Buffalo, right now, Buffalo would win.
So why do you think it's going to win? It's because defense or Lamar?
The defense and Buffalo's defense is good too.
And Lamar shredded them.
It won't happen in the playoffs. Lamar won't do it in the playoffs.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, if they play Buffalo, what will be the reason why they lose? If they play Buffalo, what's the reason they lose?
Because Lamar going to freeze up. Even Lamar come up short in the defense. That's what's going to happen.
So you think that if they play the same team again twice, that the defense is not only going to try to neutralize them again when they've shown against this team with better weapons who were still around, like Keon Coleman and all them, they're not going to
in the playoff. They didn't have Amari Cooper.
It's not about the defense. I would feel like
they didn't have listen. That was early in the year. They didn't have Amari Cooper. They were still adjusting the things without Stephon Diggs. Now they got Arsenal.
Josh Allen was having 12 touchdowns, 0 interception. Everybody's like, now he's adjusting. It was adjusting now.
Now they have a more full team than they got. They're gonna have Amari
now
Cooper,
it's a full team.
Running game and all that. Offensive line's playing better, and we've seen Lamar in the playoffs. He can't.
So let me ask you a question: how many times did it take Matthew Stafford to get a Super Bowl or Drew Brees to get over playoff hurdles? I don't want to hear about what they performed in there. I'm just talking about. Does their pass in all the time before they won?
It took them a little bit to get there, but what I'm saying, we're talking about.
I'm not talking about the statistics of what they did in the game. I'm just sitting there proving a point that yes, history matters in the point, but Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford, all of them doesn't mean that their career is over. So I get it. It's Lamar.
Bro.
It's Lamar. It's okay if it's
we
Lamar.
We gotta cut it there. We gotta cut it there.
It's both. Go ahead.
It's more Lamar because you said
we gotta cut it right there.
Hey, what y'all think? What y'all think, James?
Really love the debate. Really love the debate.
Yeah, we gotta keep it going, man.
But we gotta make sure that everybody gets their take. So who does that leave us with? I think Dom, you were next.
Dom, yeah, I can be real quick.
But go ahead with Dom. You switched.
My two teams from each conference, I believe, are my same two teams from the preseason. It's Detroit and Philly, and KC and Buffalo. Philly is really all season. They've been the only team I'm worried about because Jalen Hurts is a mobile quarterback. We're pretty good against the run, but Saquon is not just any running back. Outside of that, Philly's got probably the best roster in the NFL. I'm fairly certain we will see each other in the playoffs, probably the conference title game. KC is still KC. It's kind of the opposite of the KC we've seen in the past because the defense has been real good all year, and Patrick Mahomes has been kind of meh. And this is the best version of Buffalo I've seen in several years. I thought the window was closed. It is not. Josh Allen is not throwing interceptions really at all. They've finally got a good run game. The defense is still good. Bevy of weapons at wide receiver and tight end. So, yeah, it's those four.
And JJ, your Super Bowl team, who's separating themselves and making a case that they're going to be in New Orleans?
I don't think it's two teams in AFC. I think it's three because I think it's really. I just think as opposed to whatever. A lot of things are flip flopping between the teams that they feel are good and giving reasons why they can overcome things, and then leave another one out. But I know why it is because I think a lot of people have the same consensus as Kendall and why he doesn't want to elevate this team into the contention part at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, whether you believe whatever happened before or not, if we're talking about history, before last year, Lamar never made an AFC conference game, right? Correct. So if he never made a conference game, but he got there, that obviously means that his history has something to show that he can get somewhere. At one point in time, he could never win a playoff game. He did. So the history has beginning to progressively get better. And the funny thing about it is Josh Allen ain't won no Super Bowl. He ain't got to the Super Bowl, so why is he a contender over Lamar? And neither one of them has gone there. Matter of fact, Josh hasn't gone where Lamar has done because one thing happened. Lamar did something to get a number one seed. Josh has never done that. And then he won his home playoff game. Josh has never got there. So they're in the same boat as well, correct? Correct. Exactly. They are. So if it's not Mahomes or Burrow, you're in the same boat as considered a contender in my eyes as Lamar because your team has failed to get past the same team he has failed against. He has failed against that team, and we have failed against that team. You're in the same boat. So if we're talking about contenders, I'll bring them back into this one. Those are the three contenders. The dark horse is the Chargers because, again, Buffalo lost to Lamar, and Buffalo's had to come back. And the reason why they beat us the last time is they were down 20-3, and we blew the lead. So Lamar has shown against that Buffalo defense, he has figured it out and has been able to get up on them. The defense, however, Lost the lead last time, owned them that time. So all the stuff about early in the year and stuff, you guys, I get it. But again, the teams are the same because the same roster from last year, the same roster as this year. So it doesn't matter to me. And so I do think they're all three are contenders. On the NFC side, I honestly think it's between the other three teams, and I'm going to put them in here because I do think they're going to get together. James called one of their players a moron of the week. I do have San Francisco, Detroit, and Philadelphia Eagles. Personally think Philadelphia is going to represent them because I think Detroit, when they come across them, is going to be finding another team that is not going to be afraid to punch them back. And I think right now teams have not really been punching them back. Now, if they don't face Philly, I give them the Super Bowl nod. But if they do face Philly, I don't think they're going to get past them. I think Philly's going to punch them in the mouth. Also because throughout Philly's rest of this season, they're going to have to play another team next week who I just mentioned. So they're going to be battle tested against teams that are trying to do the same thing they do. So those are my three teams on each side. I don't really think it's a two-team race. I definitely think it's a three-team race. All of them.
Tough to punch someone in the mouth when you're already laying on the canvas.
And that's now give it to Jay's point. Jay, your team eventually next year is going to be able to punch people in the mouth and keep it going because you punched Detroit about for a little bit, but they punched back a little harder.
We got up and bit their kneecaps. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's fun.
It's a learning experience, just learning how to finish games. It's still a young team.
And I'll ask you guys one last question on this.
Oh, go ahead, JJ.
Why did the Ravens side Derrick Henry? What was the reason for what they're doing that for? What part of the season? What part of the season was it for? So are you saying you don't think that they will use Derrick Henry in the postseason? And if they do, if you think they will, you don't think that's going to be a good enough thing to get far because of what you've seen earlier in this year?
You would hope so. There's like a threshold for passing the
that's what y'all
saying.
So we can't say what happened in the past is going to happen this year because they didn't have Derrick Henry. And we all agree Derrick Henry because they didn't run the football last year. And if they did, they would have beat the Kansas City Chiefs. So now we get him. And now the postseason comes, it's like it doesn't matter if you get them because I don't think you're going to overcome whatever your defense done, even though they have shown to overcome what their defense has done with Derrick Henry. So that's why I say I know it's like none of the stuff, whenever you talk about the Ravens, everybody makes things that contradict each other on so many different fronts. And I can easily do this with anybody because everyone just does not stay consistent. It's going something based off how we feel and how we not. I literally just prove it all the time. And it's like, I get it, but let's just stand. If you want to criticize Lamar, I am fine with that. I am fine with not thinking the Ravens are there. But I tell people every night from here now and then, I'm okay with you accepting that's how you feel. But you have to accept that when you discuss this team and discuss this quarterback, you flip-flop. On this team alone and this quarterback, that's it. It doesn't mean you're a flip-flopping person in terms of your ideas or your things. It just means you are flip-flopping on this. And I could do it to Stephen A. Smith. I could do it to Cam Newton, Ryan Clark. I can do it to anyone that's ever talked about Lamar. I can show how they flip-flop. And that's okay what I'm saying. But I'm going to definitely let you know about it. And that's what everybody did, especially anytime you talk about Lamar.
Hey, that's why they play the game. That's why they play.
That was great, JJ. Y'all mind if real quick, if you guys want to keep the debate going, we can keep it going.
I thought we had an hour.
I just want to jump in and make my picks real quick. I'll be short and sweet with it. So obviously in the NFC, I got the same two teams in most of the panel. I got the Eagles and I got the Detroit Lions. I think both teams are similar. A lot of people have spoken about Sirianni. I think Sirianni's been a little more criticized, but he does have some of the same tendencies as Dan Campbell. The team loves him, despite of what the fans think, despite what the media think. The team is behind him, and they do love him. And they're both reckless, and they make crazy decisions with fourth down, going for 2-point conversions. But I think it should be really those two teams at the top. What Saquon has added to the Eagles, it speaks for itself. And, Jalen not turning the ball over when he doesn't turn the ball over. He's one of the most effective quarterbacks in the league. So I love those two teams in the NFC. And in the AFC, I think that you can't really bet against Mahomes and Andy Reid, similar to you can't bet against Tom Brady and Belichick. It's pretty much the same thing. Even when you think the Chiefs are kind of dead, they still stay alive, and that's why they've stuck around and won so many games this season. And then for my second team, I really also like the Bills. I think Josh Allen's obviously on a mission. He wants to get there. He wants to finally overcome, the monster, as I was saying earlier in the show, which is Mahomes. So I think having a game like that could spark this Bills team to go on a big run. So I like what Josh is doing, and I'm gonna pick them as my second team in the AFC.
Right away.
Well, we can go to non-sports topic, I guess.
All right, non-sports topic. Happy Thanksgiving to all the folks that celebrate Thanksgiving. That is next Thursday. Take one thing off the table: cranberry sauce, gravy, green bean casserole, or mac and cheese.
I'm gonna go with the cranberry sauce. I'm not too crazy over that.
Me too. That was going to be my pick.
Ew, cranberry
Yeah,
sauce and green bean casserole. Bye.
You should take both of them up down.
Yeah, definitely.
Some stuff.
Well, you're definitely not taking mac and cheese off the table.
I will never
That's
be
not
for
happening.
Thanksgiving if you ever do.
If
Yeah,
you show up,
You will never.
if you show up at my house with green bean casserole, you and your green bean casserole can get the fuck out.
Amen. I'm not going to say get the F out, but I'm with you. Like, go. Get out. I'm sorry. Throw it in the trash.
yeah, the mac and cheese one, I was like, yeah, it might be some friendships on the line with that one.
This
But
is
no,
the misbehaving constructor. Wait, no, conductor.
You better take
Misbehaving
that
conductor
thing
hat.
off
When you're bad, you wear the hat.
but no, my pick is cranberry sauce. I never really been a fan of cranberry like that. I mean, it's alright, but not. I mix it with my vodka. Okay, cool, but that's about as far as it goes. Cranberry sauce, nah. I mean, green bean casserole I could tolerate. Mac and cheese definitely is gonna stay, and gravy. If you make it right, actually can make Thanksgiving. You know,
The gravy is important.
yeah,
You
just
gotta have
depending
the
on
gravy for the mashed potatoes, and you gotta also
Yes.
have it for turkey.
I also
So
have
it's a very versatile thing.
and stuffing. You can put it on stuffing too.
Speaking
Yeah,
of
that's what
stuffing,
you should have put that on here instead of green bean casserole. Would have been more
no.
difficult.
Listen, if you have stuffing, I'm going to try it myself this year. Leftover stuffing, waffle iron, gravy on top. Tell me that doesn't sound phenomenal.
that's just so a stuffing cake or a
Yeah,
stuffing waffle.
stuffing,
You gotta have
waffle-shaped
stuffing.
stuffing with gravy instead of syrup.
Stuffing
gonna
is the
do it.
perfect mix.
I might.
Stuffing's
I
the
could put
perfect
that.
thing
I
to
could
mix.
put that between some bread.
Do
Okay,
you make your stuffing from scratch, or do you use the shit that's in the box?
The
PSA.
box.
PSA.
That's the only time the whole year that I have stuffing.
There's
It's
nothing.
stovetop or nothing.
There's nothing wrong, people, as well, with mixing your food on Thanksgiving. If you don't mix, I think something's wrong because I don't understand. I
Wait,
don't
but what do you mix though? What do you mix?
Oh, I mix whatever I put on my plate. I don't care. I love it together. I've mixed mac and cheese, mashed potatoes, string beans, and turkey together. I
That's
don't
not
give a fuck.
bad.
If it's on there.
The
Cabbage,
leftover Thanksgiving burrito.
I don't matter to me. Like, yes. Yeah.
I mean,
Like turkey, mashed
there's some
potato,
people.
stuffing, mac and cheese,
No,
gravy, burrito.
I'm actually glad, Dom, you're in agreement, and JJ, you said that because there's some people out there who are like they're prudes. I don't want my food touching, cross contamination, anything like that. And it's like, well, I mean, like some potatoes got on your turkey, so what? Like it's all going to the same place anyway. Like I understand some things. Like I wouldn't do like I don't know, say greens and like stuffing. Like I mean, it's not exactly gross, but yeah. But no, there are some things where you get like, if I'm feeling ballsy, I might do a little gravy on the mac and cheese, see how that tastes. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with mixing at all. I mean, shoot, any of y'all ever taken like a roll, Thanksgiving roll, and just put like turkey and then like stuffing and then gravy and then like a little mac and cheese and make a little biscuit sandwich?
That's
And
what I'm saying. Leftover
yeah,
Thanksgiving burrito. That shit is bomb.
yeah. No, you're right. Oh, and to answer James' question, from scratch. I'm from a scratch family, man. I mean, if you do from the box, like that's cool, no
What's
judgment.
that
But
recipe though?
But you got to find the OG in your family with that recipe.
I was gonna say it is
just
no younger than your grandma, minimally. It's probably great grandma's.
Yeah, and and,
Ain't
and
mine.
and I would encourage this to the panel. Whether you cook or not, but the older the older generation that's still living, I would say now is the time to get those recipes because you just never know. You know what I mean? Like there's recipes that have died with my grandparents, and
Hmm.
no one else in the family knows how to make it. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, get those recipes while you can, and make it like a little book or keep something on your phone or something like that. Because I mean, you just never know. You know what I mean? Like my grandparents made this awesome giblet gravy that you mix in with the stuffing, and with other things too, and it was amazing. And well, hadn't had it since they passed. So, don't get me wrong, other versions have been great. It just hasn't been that. So I would encourage, and everybody else watching too, in the comments, everybody else watching it, get those recipes as soon as you can. You know
Get
what
your
I mean?
grandparents' recipes. They knew what the fuck they were doing.
Sure
Yes.
did, and that's the best time because our parents, grandparents, Kendall's too, and they had to make everything from scratch. They
And
had
we
to
don't
figure
know.
it out. They
We
had
don't know any
to.
of the recipes, so we
Yeah,
need
there.
to
I
collect
don't
them.
think there was stovetop until about 50 years ago.
Right. So hold on, question, Kendall. I never asked you. Are you from the South or up North?
South.
So you already know. At the end of the day, also people remember Thanksgiving for most of our families started with the breakfast, then transitioned over to Thanksgiving dinner because the breakfast is also an important part of Thanksgiving as well. And if you're that's why you gotta stay at grandma's house. You gotta stay at grandma's house. You help out that day. That's the one time you willingly help out because you get to try food as you're helping out. And that's when you see the process in place. At the end of the day,
You should help out the rest of the year. You should not only help out for one day.
oh, I'm thinking about as kids. Kids should help out every the rest of the year and athlete, but as kids, you want to just eat and everything. I love Thanksgiving so much that my family always leaves a separate tray of mac and cheese just for me. They do it all the time because I take all the mac and cheese home, all of it.
Oh, we've talked about this in the week before Thanksgiving Gauntlet episodes before. We know about you and the mac and cheese, JJ.
Hey, JJ, you making it again this year?
No, I'm happy that my cousin's gonna make it, and I told her you better make it. She always makes it, and she always sit here and say she always tries to warn me. I'm like, Valerie, when have I ever not eaten your mac and cheese? Like, I don't understand. Like, why do you keep telling me? Oh, it may not. I didn't do this. I didn't do this. She's telling me this as I'm scarfing it down, and I'm just like, I don't have. I love it. I don't know what's wrong with you. Like, chill out.
Where's everybody going for Thanksgiving?
I be home watching football, and that's it.
Your team play on that day?
No, but I watch all the games. I don't go nowhere when the games
Did y'all
on.
watch the first game? Because I always could wake up after the first game.
Yeah,
I
I
don't want
watch.
to watch none of these games for real.
The Bears and the Lions.
Yeah, that'd be
Hey,
good.
look, man, we're trying to break an 8-year curse. We haven't won on Thanksgiving since
Y'all
2016.
break it this year.
You're not breaking it.
Your games are boring, man.
Me and my girl are going to my folks'. My mom doesn't make Thanksgiving dinner, but maybe 2 or 3 of the last 7 or 8 years, so it's a pretty big
I know
deal.
what game James is looking forward to next week, and I'm looking forward to that game too.
What's that?
Hey, you already know what's going to happen. Whatever happened tonight with Kendall versus JJ was a historical moment. So I really want to say we're going to bring those debates like that in the future
Yeah,
shows.
let's get it.
We hope that you guys enjoyed that. And me and JJ going to probably have one next week when
Oh yeah, y'all are gonna detonate
our
next
team
week.
So on Picked Off, we're going to clear the schedule, and Eagles versus Ravens debate is going to be the last game.
Yeah,
So y'all
yeah,
know.
absolutely, absolutely. That's fair. James, you're not flying nowhere for Thanksgiving?
I'm not, unfortunately, man. I'm gonna be by myself, but I'm gonna try to be in the spirit. I'm gonna try to I never cooked any Thanksgiving in my life, so I'm about to go. I'm gonna go get a
Go get you a
turkey.
go get you a
I'm
Stouffer's
gonna.
lasagna.
That was I was like,
I'm not getting no damn lasagna, man. I got respect. I got respect for the Thanksgiving spirit. So
yo,
I'm gonna just get on YouTube. I'm gonna look up mac and cheese recipe, how to cook a turkey. I'm gonna do it on my own, man. So
I mean,
I'm excited for it.
dude, like I understand hard. Like people didn't ate syrup sandwiches, sugar sandwiches, but hard time Stouffer's lasagna on. That's hard times right there. That's hard times.
That's crazy, bro. Stouffer's is crazy.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean,
Thanksgiving,
honestly, as an Italian, it's disrespectful to my family, but I mean, not only that, but we got bent over by the Colts on
Let me
Thanksgiving that
change the
year.
scenario real quick. Let's take off. Let me see if I can make it a little harder. Let's take off cranberry sauce and put collard greens. All right, collard greens gravy. Let's take green bean casserole off and put on a dessert,
Banana pudding.
apple pie or sweet potato pie.
Banana pudding.
Huh?
Banana pudding.
Okay, do that. So let's do take off. What would you take off between?
I'm taking off that
Collard
cranberry
greens.
sauce.
No, not cranberry sauce. Let's say collard greens, gravy, banana pudding, or mac and cheese. Which one are you taking off?
cranberry
Say it
sauce.
again. Collard greens.
Collard greens,
I
gravy,
could live without the gravy.
banana pudding, and mac and cheese.
I could take the gravy off.
I wish I would see collard greens on my Thanksgiving table for once.
I don't want collard greens or banana pudding, but I'll take off banana pudding.
I mean, banana pudding only if I can get the Nilla wafers on the side. Like you got to do it right. You know what I mean? Like if I can get the
not even
Nilla
banana
wafers,
pudding without the wafers.
exactly. See what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got to have the Nilla wafers. So, but no, out of cranberry sauce on that list, cranberry sauce is going to get eliminated every time.
My
Every
mom
single
was just saying she's got a can in her fridge that might be from last year. Oh, there he is.
Throwback. And there we go. Yes, that is where it comes from, ladies and gentlemen. He had
I'm
a
sending this
Stouffer's
message
lasagna.
out to the Stouffer's people. We want that sponsorship.
You know what? I'm gonna start.
Yeah, since
I'ma
I have
start
no
going-
way to get a hold of Mad Dog.
We're gonna go
I'm
to the
excited
Super
for that.
Bowl. We're gonna go to the Super Bowl in New Orleans. We're gonna be on Bourbon Street with a Stouffer's lasagna.
I will
Hey,
get it.
if
the Lions make the Super Bowl, I will get a Stouffer's lasagna costume. If I can't find one, I will have my mom sew one.
Hey, if
I want to see it.
if you ever text me and I text back that photo, that means I'm going through it. That means I'm going through it.
That's classic,
Help you,
man.
boy.
One more time.
Yeah. Oh man, never ever
All right,
gets
people.
old.
I guess that does it,
That's
man.
about it.
I want to say thank you to the Sideline Sports Network for putting us on. Thank you to everybody that tuned in and watched the show. You guys can find us here every Friday night between 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock Eastern. You can also find us at the same time, Wednesday night, 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock Eastern, picked off where we make our weekly picks in the NFL. We will be back next week. It's going to be electrifying. Appreciate you guys. And make sure you guys follow us and tune into everything else on Sideline Network. Check out the website because myself and a lot of these journalists we got here, they've been putting into work. They've been putting into articles, man. So if you really want to see some real articles, go check out the website, sidelinesportsnet.com. And for all of us here, we will see you guys in about a few more days, right before Thanksgiving, for the Picked Off Show.
Good night, Indianapolis. I will see you.